2 weeks of Young and the Restless spoilers indicate that there will be a lot of excitement as Melody Thomas Scott's character Nikki Newman meets a former acquaintance in Tuscany. Given that she is slated to perform at the Astoria wedding on the CBS soap opera, it is most likely Leslie Brooks, Janice Lind. Additionally, Joshua Morrow's character Nick Newman attempts to mend his relationship with Amelia Heinel's character Victoria Newman. Nikki Newman will run into a former acquaintance on multiple occasions. Leslie Brooks is suspected of providing entertainment for the guests during Victoria's wedding, making him the most likely suspect. In 1977, Janice played Leslie for the final time in Genoa City. She will therefore be a throwback to the past on Young and the Restless. It has been years since she last appeared. But off-screen, Nikki and Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, recently went to her concert in Europe a few weeks ago. In October, Janice Lind will play Leslie in multiple Young and the Restless episodes. She was the first actress to play the part. Leslie is a huge favorite of Nikki's. She is now well known throughout the world as a pianist. Whether the wedding will truly take place is still up in the air, but it looks like the party will start once the guests arrive. Victor and Nikki could need to work quickly to keep the guests occupied, according to Young and the Restless scoops. In order to determine whether she and Ashland Locke, Richard Berge, will reach the altar, Victoria goes to great lengths. Victoria Newman is certain that she does not want her brother around as her wedding draws near. On Young and the Restless, he will, however, make every effort to win her back during the second week. She pleaded with him to halt his investigation into her fiancé's background. However, he refused to give up. Now that she is aware of incriminating information, she is devastated. She has, however, directed all of her resentment and disillusionment at Nick Newman. As he attempts to make apologies with his sister, he has a significant task ahead of him. Before the Young and the Restless wedding, can she forgive him? Updates from Young and the Restless reveal that she feels deceived. She anticipated that Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, would act in this manner. But she believed Nick was on her side. He'll try to persuade her that his actions were motivated solely by love. Nick wanted to keep Victoria from committing the greatest error of her life. For the sake of her father, Victoria had already reconciled with Adam Newman, Mark Grossman. In order to give Nick another chance on Young and the Restless, she might compromise her position. Before the big day, Sally Spectra, Courtney Hope, is determined to give Victoria her wedding gown. According to Young and the Restless updates, she and Adam will take the large Newman aircraft to Tuscany. She is conscious that the soon-to-be bride cannot know that she created the stunning dress. The Young and the Restless's next 2 weeks promise emotional upheaval, long-kept secrets, and a flashback that has the potential to overthrow one of Genoa City's most influential women. Future spoilers indicate that Nikki Newman will soon see someone she never really parted ways with, and the experience might cause her to rekindle old scars. Nikki has never been able to put the past behind her. However, the timing is even more risky this time. A silent moment becomes a startle. The plot starts off quite serenely. On the outside, Nikki appears calm and grounded. Yet her priorities are her family and preserving order in the Newman business. She feels she's finally deserved a time of calm after everything she's been through, including decades of emotional warfare, betrayals, and drug issues. When a surprising name reappears, that illusion is destroyed. It's subtle at first, a remark heard, a well-known expression, something too familiar to be a coincidence. Nikki dismisses it, telling herself she's dreaming. But there's no denying it when she eventually meets the person from her past. There is no recollection here. It's right in front of her, and this is real. Who is this unidentified person? Although the name of the person Nikki meets is kept a secret in spoilers, hints point to the possibility that they were once in actual control of her life. Not a casual acquaintance. Not a fling forgotten. This person was acquainted with Nikki prior to the polish and before the Newman name was associated with power and influence. Emotional, hostile, or extremely complex, the chemistry is instantaneous. Nikki can't breathe after just one glance. Even when years have gone by, unsolved history has the power to instantly collapse time. Scenes with a lot of subtext are likely to be silent and intense. Every word that is spoken will be significant. Every pause will convey more than any conversation could. Nikki's well-constructed armor cracks. The intensity with which this plotline disturbs Nikki is what makes it so captivating. Resilience has always been a source of pride for her. She always gets back up stronger, sharper, and more in control, regardless of how hard she falls. However, animosity isn't immediately sparked by this reconnection. Vulnerability is evoked, which is even more disturbing. Nikki is made to face a side of herself that she hardly ever acknowledges. The person she was before position and power insulated her from repercussions. That Nikki made decisions based on longing, fear, and survival. And the individual from her past is aware of everything. That information on its own is risky. Victor Newman feels unhappiness. Victor Newman quickly gains the impression that something is wrong. Victor is the one who understands Nikki the best, despite her attempts to conceal her discomfort. Alarms can be raised by a change in her conduct, a cautious reaction, or an inexplicable reluctance. In an effort to save his wife and the Newman name at all means, Victor starts his covert investigation. However, what he finds could make everything even more complicated. This is a threat to the present as well as Nikki's past. Secrets that have the power to transform everything. It becomes evident during the course of the 2-week arc that this individual did not return to Genoa City by chance. It's unknown if they had financial, emotional, or personal motivations, but one thing is for sure. They didn't return empty-handed. There are clues of secrets, truths that, if revealed, may completely change Nikki's past. The public is not already aware of these controversies. Nikki struggled to survive these events, and it's even more difficult to forget them. They could cause tension in her marriage, damage her reputation, and change her children's perception of her if they are made public. How much of the past can Nikki afford to keep buried? And how far would she go to preserve it, becomes a critical concern for her. Emotional repercussions for the family. Those closest to Nikki start to feel the effects as she battles within. Even though they don't yet know why, her kids can sense the strain. Discussions seem hesitant. Feelings are suppressed. Honesty may be demanded by some. Others might be afraid of what that candor would reveal. The individual from Nikki's past, meantime, doesn't appear to be in a rush to go. Their lingering presence compels Nikki to face what she has shunned for years. Every encounter erodes the emotional barriers she has constructed one by one. Is Nikki being tested or manipulated? Whether Nikki is being influenced is one of the most fascinating concerns this plot poses. Is this individual looking for leverage or closure? Are they truly sorry, or are they just trying to see how much control they have over Nikki? Viewers are kept guessing by the vagueness. Certain scenes imply both sides' vulnerability. Others allude to strategic actions intended to weaken Nikki at a crucial juncture. Motives are still unclear, and trust is a risky bet, in typical Young and the Restless way. An uphill battle for Nikki Newman. Nikki will be at a turning point by the end of the 2-week spoiler window. She can choose to keep trying to control the narrative in the hopes that the past remains silent, or she can face the reality head-on, running the danger of being exposed and experiencing emotional damage. Neither option is secure. This plot relies on more than just explosive confrontations, which is what makes it so compelling. It has to do with regret, remembrance, and the price of survival. It serves as a reminder to viewers that even the most resilient personalities have ghosts, and occasionally those ghosts come knocking. Why this plot is important. One of the Young and the Restless's emotional cornerstones has always been Nikki Newman. Seeing her disturbed by her own past, rather than a present adversary, gives a figure that fans have been following for decades more nuance. There is more to this arc than just drama. It has to do with identity. About how far one may run from one's history, and what happens when it eventually catches up with one. It serves as a reminder to seasoned fans of why Nikki is still such an alluring character in Genoa City. Her strength comes from her survival rather than her perfection. Conclusion. The past is never truly gone. Fans should prepare for silent destruction, poignant disclosures, and decisions that may change the Newman family dynamic over the course of the next 2 weeks. Nikki's meeting with a former acquaintance won't end amicably and won't leave her unaltered. The past in Genoa City demands to be taken into consideration rather than just being revisited.